Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and I know what you're thinking right off the bat. 2 videos, 1 day, whoa, what's going on? But we're not going to discuss that. What we're going to discuss today is what's taken Season 2 for Last Epoch so long to come out. Season 1 released on July 9th, and now it's going to be April 2nd before we get our second season. That's almost 9 months without new content. There was one hard reset for online play for the season in Season 1, but again, just playing the same old stuff doesn't make too much of a difference, right? Well, we recently got some insights into an answer into this from Judd himself in an interview that was recently done with Rax and 𝐍𝐞𝐻𝐮, and it is linked below if you want to watch the full interview that they did. But in this, we're just going to discuss one of the answers and then some of the reasons why it took so long for Season 2 to come along. So before we get a direct answer from Judd, let's go ahead and dive into the original timeline of what Last Epoch was thinking, and that was back before 1.1, back just shortly after launch. They gave us an original content roadmap, and in this you can see for 1.1, they were going to give us Harbingers and Pinnacle bosses, they were going to give us random encounters with Nemesis, and then the new mechanic, the Evade, which was a dodge rule. And we did get all three of those in 1.1, but as you can see in this roadmap for 1.2, they were going to go with Primal Hunt endgame events, Ancient Era story chapter, the next chapter in the story of the campaign, and then Primordial uniques. And if you've been paying attention and seen what's coming in this next patch, none of that's on the list. So what's changed? And with another roadmap that came out shortly after that, you can see the difference in scope. So those original things probably could have came out a few months after, but they decided that they were going to listen to the feedback of the community a little bit more, and they've changed the direction. So here you can see for Season 2, now they wanted to do Monolith of Fate upgrades, unique woven echoes, the Weaver faction tree, dungeon improvements, Sentinel overhaul, tomes and cemeteries, champion enemies, endgame crafting additions, and new endgame bosses. And then we do have, someone has broken down from the interview that Rax and 𝐍𝐞𝐻𝐮 did with Judd, a lot of this stuff coming and a little bit of specifics on that. Before we go through that whole list, let's get the answer from Judd himself on why it's taken so long.
Yeah, the gap between Season 1 and Season 2 was much longer than we'd like it to be and much longer than we'll be aiming for going forward. I do hope that when people see the patch notes, they'll immediately know that we weren't just, sitting idly. A lot of great content coming out with Season 2. The reason that it took so long to get Season 2 out is because it was clear what the community was asking for us to work on, and we decided to deviate from our prior Season 2 plans to prioritize the addressing of the community feedback coming through.
And that's one thing that I've always loved about EHG, is they're constantly taking in community feedback, and they're even changing the direction that they're going with their roadmap based on what the community wants and addressing their top priorities, and they're constantly changing. So it's crazy that this amount of feedback they take in has actually already altered their path going forward, and that we're getting things that we want much faster than we would have otherwise.
People are asking for, more things to do in the in-game, updates to dungeons, more balance, getting those crafting materials out of your inventory, etc. And while these were all things that we were planning to do over time, I think if we had proceeded with our prior Season 2 content plans, we might have seen tone deaf if we were to have proceeded with that over addressing some of the wants coming from the community. So we took some additional time to address the biggest wants coming out there, and because of that, I think people are really going to enjoy the content coming out with Season 2.
And I have to agree. What I see coming in Season 2, like I've already said, is one of the reasons why I'm back doing 2 videos in one day. I'm very hyped for this next season, and I'm also more hyped to hear that it's a possibility that we'll be able to get seasons a little bit quicker than this and not have to wait 9 months in between them, as that's a really long time to be doing the same content. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit more of what he has to say.
We're still aiming for that, 3 to 4 month releases for these seasons, and we do.
And that's awesome. I'm super excited if they can get it down to 3 or 4 months in between them. I don't think that's going to happen by Season 3, personally, but he does continue on, if you watch the full interview of this, go into some details about how they're making some engine changes and some of the procedure changes that changes how fast they can get content out and change things in the game. And I'd give it a listen if you haven't listened to it already. Again, it's linked down below. But before we dive into that, let's go ahead and get into the list of things that they said throughout this entire video that are coming in Season 2. Here you can see that it's been posted on Reddit that they talked about idle crafting with enchants, which allows for crafting mods from a separate powerful pool of mods that can go up to tier 7, can be re-rolled but cost currency obtained from the tomes and cemeteries. So there's going to be a new currency that comes in the tomes and cemeteries, and this allows you to craft on idols, which is, it's just crazy that you're going to be able to get tier 7 affixes, more powerful affixes on idols. So idols will become much more powerful in Season 2. We have the Woven Echoes, which is compared to like unique maps in Path of Exile. You have the Woven Faction, which is similar in Forgotten Knights in terms of progression, lumped into endgame factions, so you get this. And the Forgotten Knights faction at endgame uses Memory Amber, which drops in Tomes and Simmers, will progress the Woven similarity in favor in the trade systems. Then we have some new champion enemies coming. We have Uber Aberoth, the unique bosses. Set shards, though, this is really cool. These work similar to regular shards and are crafted onto your rare or exalted items. They provide set affixes and also count as wearing an item in that set for set bonus acquisition. So basically what this is, you can break down your set items, get a shard from them, and then in that same slot, be able to put that set shard affix onto a regular, rare, or exalted item. And then, if you wear that item, that counts as wearing a set piece in that, so you can actually get set bonuses without actually wearing the set items themselves. This is going to be some crazy theory crafting we got going forward. And then they got new items and chase uniques, the Rune of Weaving, Rune of Havoc, the Rune of Redemption. They've got Weaver's Will items, a little bit of changes there. A Sentinel rework, Mastery respec, so you can just switch through masteries now. New crafting materials, kind of quality of life, where shards will automatically transfer to your crafting inventory. You're also going to have like a key section and a Woven Echoes section, which is pretty cool. Portal charms to like kind of do some cool things with portals. The one we saw was the ability to skip like straight to the boss at the end of it. WASD control. Last Epoch on consoles, some work there, and then Aberith changes, a little bit of balance there. So some really exciting things coming. Go ahead and let me know what you're most excited for in the comments below.